Jonesy and Amanda.
Jam Nation.
Surprised at all the people doing the postal voting at the moment. I remember one time I voted early by accident. I was walking past a polling
How do you
booth.
vote by accident?
I was walking past and I said, "What's going on here?" And they said, "Oh, it's a pre-polling." I went, "Oh." And they said, "Well, how do you do that?" He goes, "Just go in and do it." And next minute, and the lady said, "And do you have a reason for not voting on Saturday?" I went, "Because I'm here now and I'm in front of you." And then she went, "Yeah, okay."
She thought you'd had a stroke and she said, fair enough.
There you go. But I like on the day going along, seeing all the dudes and they're putting their leaflets at you and, stirring up trouble. Clive Palmer's people, how nuts are they? And then you go to the Libs and say, Clive Palmer's people will say, you like, it's good to
Do you like the theatre of it?
I like the theatre.
Yeah, not everyone does, which is why there's a lot of early voting.
Probably.
Do you want to hear the history of the democracy sausage? Because a lot of people like to go on the day because they like to buy a cake and support the local school or the community centre, whatever. The democracy sausage started appearing at polling booths in the 80s because of the introduction of the portable barbecue. It's as simple as that. But people have been selling bits and pieces on election day since the 1930s. There are images dating back to the 1930s of a polling booth with cake stalls. So it's a community organisation thought it'd be a great way to fundraise because voting became compulsory after World War I. Compulsory voting was introduced in 1924, and that meant that everyone had to step out to vote, and they probably didn't have that many polling booths in those days. So local schools and community groups thought, well, how about I sell my jam? How about we sell some cakes to raise money for the school or the community centre? So it goes back that far. So the sausage, though, has somehow become the culinary icon. When we grew up, it was the cakes on voting day. The sausage is now the big deal. The sausage slapped on a piece of bread with some optional onion, a squirt of tomato sauce, whatever.
I know how a sausage works.
Okay,
well, bread.
Okay, thank you, Brendan.
I haven't just come in off the boat.
But the big deal that made the big difference is that there was a law introduced in 1911 that decreed that polling day had to be a Saturday, and that meant that kids were off school. That meant that the whole family turned up at the voting booth. Yeah. And that's what made the big difference of this atmosphere where let's get the whole family down there, mum and dad vote, and the kids will buy some food, muck around, all of that. And so some places have these and some places don't.
Yeah, my local one hasn't had it for a few times
and that's
now.
Because they don't have a fundraising capability. That's the difference.
Okay.
If you want to fundraise, that's why you do
Putting
it.
on
if not, you don't.
My entrepreneur hat. What about this? I take a barbecue down to my local school.
I don't think you can raise money for yourself.
And I start cooking irregular shaped foods so politicians can eat them in a strange fashion.
What's going to be worse than them eating a big phallic sausage? Nothing.
A big Kransky.
But if you feel like you're going to be missing out on the weekend, if you've done a postal vote or the place where you vote doesn't have a sausage sizzle or a democracy sausage, which Brendan Jones needs to hear again is a sausage and a piece of bread.
How does it work? Let me just write this down. You get the bread.
Okay. What you can do, though, is Uber Eats are doing this. They are calling it Snag-a-Festo, and it is a meaty platform for delivering snags to the snagless this election day. So you can order your democracy sausage on the Uber Eats app.
Yeah.
It's got all the essentials, optional onions. You know how it works, Brendan. You tell me. You've got tomato, you've got mustard, you've got all of that.
Yeah.
And all the proceeds are going to the Australian Red Cross.
Really?
I think that is brilliant. So if you've already pre-voted or if you're going to a place that doesn't have this, you can sit at home and enjoy your Uber Eats democracy sausage. This is what's great about Australia. I love it.